Okay, it's 11:02. It is August 12th, 2021, and we're going to kick off the Economic Development Council meeting. And we have quorum. I do expect that people will be joining as the meeting continues. Bruce will not be present. Stonehill emergency work calls. So let's get started. First item on the agenda is to accept the meeting minutes. May 13th, 2021 and June 10th, 2021. Does anybody have any comments, corrections? John, I know you're usually pretty good about combing through those.
No, I didn't see anything this week.
Okay. All right. Would somebody like to make a motion to accept those minutes as they are?
So moved.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Second. That's Fulgenetti and Holbrook. I'm just going to call out your name and just say yes, please. Yes, if you could. Danielson.
Yes.
Holbrook.
Yes.
Fulgenetti.
Yes.
Whitman.
Yes.
And Lamb, yes. Okay, so those meeting minutes are accepted. All right, next item on the agenda is the Easton Outside Update. So this is very exciting. We had all summer, we've been doing the Where's Chris campaign, and we've met at a few restaurants throughout town on Thursday nights. We've had a great showing. I want to point out the star of the show here, and that's Chris Gammons. If you've been to these events, there's tons of people, and they're all taking pictures, and they're all having a good time. And Chris works at the Y. He works with Darcy Pava, and Chris is like, he jumps out of everything he does. His smile is contagious. His energy is contagious. He's so happy to be there. He's so excited. This whole campaign would not exist without Chris. And not just, his volunteerism, but his personality. And it has been really successful. There's been a ton of social media buzz about it. And it's, Dottie, you've been there for these events. Would you like to share your take on it?
I just think he really keeps the buzz of the excitement around these events. And, it's hard. You couldn't possibly be there and not be smiling at his enthusiasm. And it is contagious to the other people that are there, not just people in the Easton Outside campaign and economic development. John, was there one night. Just the customers that are going into the restaurant, and it's like, get your picture taken and have the chance to get a gift card. And I think it makes them really happy too, to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has created an opportunity and a forum for people to show up and not just participate in the event, but talk about like what's going on in town. What about economic development? Because there's so many people in town that, they're not, I don't want to say they're not paying attention. They're just living a normal life, right? So they're not plugged in to the degree that we're plugged in. Like, when you're on these boards and committees, you take for granted the knowledge you have and what you learn. And so when you go out and you talk to people who aren't part of these boards and committees, they have an opinion and they have questions, and they don't know what's going on. So it's great to be able to talk to people and share what's going on and get their feedback, their pleasure, displeasure, whatever it is. It's even comments or constructive criticism is very welcome, and this has created a forum for that. So as far as the Where's Chris campaign, it's not stopping. But right now we have nobody lined up for it. I think there might be a couple events in September. It's one of those events where we're just going to keep it out there, and anybody who wants to invite us to their establishment, not just a restaurant, but like Paperback Junction or businesses, we're open to that. So that will continue, though we have nothing on the books right now. And then where our focus now is, which will also be the focus of the EDC, the Easton Outside campaign has pointed their focus at, is the app, the Discover Easton app, which it's done, and we're talking about ways to promote it, to push it out there, to get people in, to use it. So our focus with Easton Outside is the app. Dottie, you were at the Easton Outside meeting the other day. What do you think about the app and how?
Yeah, so the app is ready. If you go into the Apple or the Google Play Store, wherever you get your apps, and you search for Discover Easton MA, or you can even put in Easton MA, but the app is called Discover Easton Mass, and then download that for free, and then explore it. You know, you'll see the listing of all the businesses, the restaurants, things to do in Easton. And so the next step for us is to start advertising that. So I have the marketing material ready to go, and was ready to send it out to everybody the other day. One of the team tried to see if their business was in there and it wasn't. And so there's a link for businesses to claim their business. And when you click on that link and you go, you see if your business is there, you log in, and then a moderator will verify that you're legitimately like connected to the business. So we can't have, you know, Dan Smith out taking over everybody's business saying he's the boss of them. And so there's a process for that. And it was a little bit clunky because it says to put in your city, and when you just put in Easton, it didn't bring up the app. You had to type in Discover Easton, comma MA. So I wanted to clarify that a little bit before we put out the advertising, and then we get a bunch of people saying this doesn't work, right? So the other thing was, if your business isn't listed, there's supposed to be a button that you click to be able to request to put your business in, and that's not on the link. So I have to talk to the app developer, and she's out of the office this week until Monday. So I didn't want to put anything out there prematurely and then have people criticizing it because there's a glitch in that. But we'll have that resolved hopefully by Monday. If not, I'll figure out a workaround for that. But we want to definitely get that out because it is live and ready to go. We're going to print up signs that say Discover Easton, get the app. It's going to have a QR code on it. And so the printer is not in this week. He'll be in Monday. So we'll put the order in for those. We're going to get some banners. And then we're going to print up some flyers, and we're going to ask businesses to put them in their window so their customers will be able to scan the QR code, get the app. Businesses will be able to put specials on there, like restaurants could have specials once they claim their portal. They can update that as they want. And we're also I've got to talk to the town clerk because we're going to print out flyers so that when they give a business certificate to someone, they can hand that flyer to the person who's trying to open a new business in town. So there's more. And then we have a whole media list on where we're going to do it. And then Mark had an awesome idea from his business experience. Do you want to talk about what that, the explainer module is?
Sure. You know, there was a couple things that I was thinking. So the first one, as Dottie mentioned, is I think most of us have seen what is called an explainer video, and they're anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute, and they're animated and they have music, and they reveal a lot in that small window, because you know, as we had our Easton Outside meeting and we're talking about the app, one of the attendees had some questions about it, and which led me to think, you know, just putting the app out there, like the QR code, and saying download this app, that's great and all, but what about a further explanation of what the app is, what it does, how it can benefit you, stuff like that, and make it a little more, you know, animated and with music, and you know, to draw people in. So we're going to have that created, and we're going to take that video, and we're going to put it on. We're going to ask everybody to share it. But we're going to put it on the EDC website, the Easton Chamber. I'm sorry, the EDC Facebook page, and the Easton Chamber Facebook page. And this grant, it has funds. You know, all the banner and all this promotional stuff. There's funds within the grant to support this. So we're also, I think Dottie's going to explore if we're allowed to use parts of that grant to promote it through Facebook, like a paid promotion. So we'll promote that video, we'll promote the QR codes and the PDF flyers. And, you know, that's really short money. So for like, you know, we give the Easton Chamber a couple $100 to promote it for a period of 2 weeks. That will reach an audience of well over $10,000. We put it on the EDC page and we promote it over the course of 2 weeks. And we spent a couple $100 doing that, and, you know, set the demographics so it's within the confines of Easton, or maybe just bleeding out in certain communities. that will get in front of people, 10,000 people easily. And the idea behind that was, if you're on your phone, if you're on social media, and if you're scrolling through, um, by virtue of having your phone in your hand, you're halfway there, right? So you're halfway there. All you got to do is press that, and now you can download the app. Whereas the banners are great. It's great awareness around town, but there are so many steps between seeing the banner and downloading the app before you actually get to obtain the app. When you're already on social media, you're halfway there. So this is going to kind of be a blitz between everything Dottie had mentioned, everything I had just mentioned, because we believe this is going to, I believe that Easton is going to be the community that uses this app better than any other community in the state, more than any other community in the state. And other communities will turn to us and say, how did you get the word out for that app like you have? Like, how are these businesses tapping into it, using it? I want to be the community that's the model for this app. There's been so much work put into it, and it's an incredible app. We've all seen it. So that's my 2 cents.
And we were thinking, Matt, you have a real expertise in communication, and then the new appointee, he has an expertise in communication. So we have some really good resources to keep just brainstorming and finding new ways, new ideas.
Yeah, I was going to say we can definitely add some messaging to the homepage of Think Easton, and probably some more to the resources page on the website. Just need to figure out, obviously, where to link to, or the best way to phrase it. So I might, just put together some quick copy in a Google Doc and share it for feedback. And then, I don't know if it's never promoted an app, so I don't know if we want to push to both the Apple Store and the Android Store, two links or something like that. But yeah, we can certainly add that messaging.
I'll see if I can find the marketing piece, and I'll put
that would be perfect. Yeah, then
that's what I was going to say.
Pick that up wholesale. Yeah, absolutely.
And you could put that video that's going to be created on there too.
Definitely.
So does anybody have any questions about, well, we just covered Easton Outside update, and we just covered the app. So does anybody have any questions about Easton Outside and or the app and its promotion and next steps? No? Dan, I don't think I've heard your voice once. So everything all right over there?
No, I'm good. I was late to the call too, so my apologies.
No worries. I didn't know if there was a cardboard cutout of you or something.
What's that?
I didn't know if you were a cardboard cutout. I don't know. Have you ever seen those videos where people have to, attend a Zoom call and they just have a cardboard cutout of themselves?
Well, I won't use it on this meeting.
My favorite is still the judge with the cat.
Oh, that was hilarious.
I am not a cat.
I assure you, Your Honor.
All right, so it looks like we are now looking at the piece of literature that will be spread out around town. Matt, it's for everybody, but Matt, this is something that you could incorporate into the site.
Yeah, definitely. Dottie, if you could send these marketing materials over to me, I can definitely add them to Think Easton this month.
Yeah, actually, that isn't the I pulled up the wrong one. The one that came from the last meeting, underneath it says Easton is in your hands, and then it says download the app. So it's essentially the same with a little tweak to it. The problem that I need to wait for is that web address, the claimmycivicapps.com. That's where the challenge is on that, but I can send this to you. It's still going to be that link. I just have to have them fix their link.
Okay.
So.
Excellent. Okay, so no questions, no comments on Easton Outside or the app. That's covered. We move into the next item on the agenda, which is grant program updates. Stephanie, what do we got?
Okay, so, geez, and I just had, hold on one moment, I just had this open. So right now, the consultant is working with the subject matter experts to flesh out the recommendations. I just wanted oh my goodness, I just have this open. There we go. So the recommendations revolve around the increased capacity with the focus on economic development. So I think we discussed this at the last meeting, but this came up when we had our small focus group with some of the business owners and folks. Mark and Dottie were both part of that, talking about having dedicated staff to support economic development in town. That was one of the recommendations, for which Gould is seeking subject matter expert to flesh out what that would actually look like in project form. The other is upgrading the gateway intersections into the district to be safer and accessible for pedestrians and motorists. They're working with their own traffic department on that and planning department as the subject matter expert. And I think we've talked about this, but when we had the first outreach session, we had 5 representatives from Mass DOT District 5 at that meeting. And they updated us and apprised us that they were actually getting ready to go out and do surveys, which they have already done along Route 138, looking at doing a road diet there. So what that would allow, and this is a recommendation that came out of 2 of our earlier studies for that district, but that would eliminate. So right now you have 2 lanes of traffic going in each direction between Belmont Street and Depot Street. And that makes it, you know, your traffic kind of goes faster. It makes it intimidating for people who are crossing the road. Plus, there's not a lot of space for making bike lanes and improving the sidewalks over time. So the road diet would eliminate one of those lanes, and you'd have 2 travel lanes, one going in either direction, and then you'd have a turning lane. And it would be properly marked so people would understand how to navigate that and make their turns into either the streets or to the businesses that exist there. So it looks like Mass DOT understands that, and that will be a project we'll be following up on that as well. This has also been brought to DPW's attention. Then we're also looking for a subject matter expert for connecting a transportation corridor to the surrounding open spaces. And we met with someone from Nelson Nygaard the other day and talked about that. So they're working on that. The project plans are supposed to be completed by the end of the month. And then we'll schedule time to review those and give feedback on them before they get finalized. I am attending a webinar at 1 o'clock today that is going to talk about funding for the projects that come out of the grant. And so I will share that information with everybody after the seminar and what I learned.
Sounds incredibly important, your 1 o'clock meeting.
Yes.
All this is good and well, but without funds, what can you do? So that sounds very excited to learn what you learn.
There's going to be some grant funding that comes up though through the state, and there's already some grant funding through the ARPA, you know, infrastructure projects and things like that. So Stephanie and I are both keeping our eyes on those grants for opportunities that come up. But the thing about this consultant is at the end, they're going to make recommendations as to where to get funding. So that's a really unique part of this, this concept of doing the plans, but then having some suggestions as here's where you can look for the funding.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody have any questions regarding these updates? No. Okay. I do have a quick question for you, Stephanie. And I failed myself to not have this knowledge going into this meeting. But you know, we talked about 138 corridor. Any Any news on Korea's Plaza?
No, I have several calls into Mr. Walsh to get a status and have not received a call back as yet.
Okay. And I did see at the marketplace, there was actual activity. Like they looked like they were improving the exterior of it, which threw me for a loop. But I was very happy to see it. So I don't know what's going on over there, but there's positive activity.
Yeah, I'm very skeptical.
Yeah, unfortunately, me too. I'm just trying to find any
Yeah, silver line, yeah.
thread of hope.
Yeah, but yeah, so.
All right, photonics follow-up. That was a Bruce topic, but Bruce is not here. However, in that with that topic, this is where I was thinking about Donna Whitehead. So I reached out to Donna Whitehead, and I reached out to the folks in the photonics lab via Bruce, and tried to connect the two to share the program and see if there was a match in a story or something like that. So I don't know what happened. I'm unaware if anything ever came to fruition from that. But that was when I was going to mention Donna Whitehead's name. There it is. So I'm hoping that maybe sometime down the line there can be, put some attention on that through local newspaper. So it looks like Donna's joining us. Maybe she has something to add or a question.
I am just allowing her to talk in case
Okay.
in case Donna wants to add anything to what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Or say that that's untrue and that never happened.
Donna, can you unmute yourself? Oh, there she goes.
Yeah, I think so. I was trying to type at the same time. I've had a lot on my plate and I am interested. I'm thinking when Stonehill is open again, might be the best time to do that. I haven't had a chance to look over the interview. It's on my list, if that's, but I have not forgotten you guys.
Yeah.
It
It was one of those things where I knew I just cannot do it justice by sharing with you what they do. And I knew if you were, able to talk to them for a short period of time, you would be like, wow, this exists where? Here in Easton? Like, what's going on? So I apologize if I failed in communicating, how amazing it is, but I know that you will eventually discover that.
No problem. If you don't see us do anything, check back. Just sometimes things get in the way. But I
Okay.
thought when the college is open might be a more relevant time to pursue it.
Yeah.
Mark, it might be a good idea to send Donna the link to the meeting where they probably have that going on ECAT. Oh, good.
Yep, I did all that, and I connected her with the folks at Stonehill, and we started moving a little bit, but like Donna said, things got really busy. There was a lot going on. So, but hopefully in the fall. All right. So, Donna, do you have any comments or questions on that?
Nope, I said I'll let you guys know when I pursue it further.
Awesome. Thank you. And let me know, email me if there's any way I can help or participate or whatever.
Okay.
And just while Donna's on here, I just want to give you a shout out, Donna, because you did do at the chamber when we introduced the app, you did a really great write-up on that. And I've got a lot of people reaching out and asking questions about it. So really appreciate you taking the time to cover that for us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in that 1 week, there was like 2 or 3 stories where the app was mentioned, and it was all from Donna. So thank you. Okay, so we move into the EDC website update. Matt, we kind of talked a little bit about what can be updated, and it seems to be in the vein of the app.
Yeah. I think the biggest updates will be promoting the app. I had mentioned in our last meeting, which was 2 months ago, I think, thinking a little bit about some copy for a sort of priority development area or town strategy homepage, where then we can file the subpages for Quesit and Five Corners and downtown under that. I wrote up some copy. I'm not sure the best if it's to share the Google Doc or share the link to the Google Doc in the follow-up to the meeting minutes. I want to make sure I follow the procedures. But I would certainly appreciate it if anybody could take a look and give me some feedback. I've incorporated some of the language about supporting the town and businesses during the pandemic and the reopening, and that this is part of the town's overall strategy. as well. So it's like 3 paragraphs of text, but I can share that after the meeting, and would certainly appreciate any and all feedback.
Okay. All right. So yeah, just send it out, and please make sure you put in there. I need feedback. Don't throw it out there as like, here you go, guys, but also throw it out there with like a call to action.
Sure. Yeah.
I find a lot of times when somebody sends me something and there's no actual question in there, I tend to move to the next thing. I know it's simple, but it makes a difference. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about the EDC, about the website update? Negative. All right. General outreach and support. Restaurant Revitalization Awards. I'm going to turn to you, Stephanie.
This was Dottie had forwarded the announcement about the restoration, the restaurant revitalization grant program, and we sent that out to our businesses that we knew qualified for it. And Dottie was able, the announcement was that at least 3 of our restaurants were granted, or these 3, I'm sorry, restaurants did receive grant funds.
Do we know, is it public knowledge? Is it appropriate to share what those amounts were?
I think it did show the amounts on the in the award announcement.
Yeah, it was, they were all listed in the Globe. I can look up and find that, but this was, I have to give Stephanie a lot of credit for this. We've been really, pressed to find contact information to reach out to businesses, because the business listings that we have, when, it might not necessarily be the easiest way to reach somebody through an email, or phone numbers might not be on there and things like that. Stephanie has a really good list of the restaurants specifically, in addition to other businesses, so that when we find out that there are grant opportunities, this came through the SBA, the Small Business Administration, which is a federal grant. We were able to get that information to all our restaurants so that they could know to apply. And so to have 3 of them in a town our size get the awards is really good. But these things come up and they're really quick before they run out of money. So you can't sit around and think about it for a few weeks. You have to act on it quickly. And these grants are, some of them are challenging and they take some time, and you have to have pieces and parts like a certificate of good standing and your 2 years worth of tax returns and things like that. So it's not an easy lift for a restaurant that's working, around the clock to try to stay open. So congratulations to these 3, Farmer's Daughter, Porticello's, and Cousins Italian Cuisine, that were able to get the awards. I think it's a pretty good amount from Easton.
It is. Yeah. I mean, I do have a quick question. So is it fair to say that, or do you know that these businesses did not know about these grants until you brought it to their attention?
Yes.
Okay. So
I can say that, and maybe not all of them, but I certainly received thanks from some of the businesses that we contacted to say that they weren't aware, and they really appreciated being notified.
Now that's kind of we don't know, I don't know the dollar sum of the grant per business here, but it's fair to say this is thousands of dollars that helps each of these businesses.
Yeah, these were not tiny amounts of money. I mean,
right. But my point is, the work that you guys do has helped a business. Like, had you not done what you did, then these businesses would not benefit from thousands of dollars to help their business. So, awesome for the business. Congratulations for getting those awards, but they wouldn't have that if it weren't for you. And I just really want to point that out, that that's exceptional. Without you and efforts, this wouldn't exist.
Yeah. This is all public information. You can get it on the website. Porticello's was awarded $126,604.
Wow. And
that is not chunk change. The Farmer's Daughter received $127,808, and Cousins received $213,000.
That is absolutely staggering, mind-blowing to me. So your efforts have allowed these businesses to benefit upwards of almost combined $500,000. I was thinking in the neighborhood of like tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
That's
And
incredible. That should be,
No.
Donnie, that's a story right there. Are you kidding me?
That's
Wow,
right.
that is incredible.
And two
I
of these
know it's that big.
businesses are women-owned businesses. I mean, Porticello's, I think she may own it with her husband, but she definitely is listed as an owner, as is the farmer's daughter, women-owned businesses. So there was a real focus on minority-owned and women-owned
Women-owned.
businesses.
That is just outstanding. Congratulations to those businesses, and thank you guys for your efforts in bringing this to these businesses and helping them along the way. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about these grants or what we just talked about? No. Okay, Easton outside update. Where's Chris? We already covered that. So small business technical assistance grant program. Stephanie, could you talk about that and as well as the mass
These
manufacturing?
things come fast and furious. Dottie, I think, sent both of these to my attention, and I forwarded them along.
The Small Business Technical Assistant Grant Program was through the Mass Growth Capital, and that's probably over now. Like we posted that and put it out there when it happened. These opportunities come quick. You got to grab them quick. And the Massachusetts Manufacturing Accelerate Program, I think John, you guys, well, I think Paula knew about this. This is a grant. I feel like it's through FEMA. But it's through a federal agency. There was some opportunities with that. So that stuff has gone out.
Yeah, that one, it looked like, and John, you can speak, I think you can speak to this, but it looked like we may not, let's see, what are they looking for? Small to medium sized businesses and industry 4.0. Which is manufacturing of new technologies and innovation that align with key industries in the Commonwealth. I looked at this and thought this sounded like something that was in line with the photonics program at Stonehill, when you're talking about new technology. So,
Right, we did apply for that grant, and it was a requirement to connect to one of the educational groups. So we connected through Stonehill through their program, and it was for capital equipment. So we had applied for a couple pieces of a capital equipment that would allow us to better serve customers in that technology group and align with some of the equipment that Stonehill has, so that we'd be able to work back and forth, bring in some of their students to work on the equipment while they're learning in the program there at Stonehill on photonics. So it was quite an interesting thing. And I think actually Paula had brought in, I'm drawing a blank, but it's the Mass Hire out of Brockton. So Stonehill's having a little difficulty right now during COVID trying to bring in students into the program. So we connected Mass Hire to bring the students to Stonehill. Stonehill could train them and bring them to us being industry, and we would hopefully be able to bring in that piece of equipment to kind of have it make it all work. So we're supposed to find out, I think, end of this month if we go on to the next round.
Yeah, I just got a ping that I have to be on another call, but I do. So Stephanie, we'll catch up this afternoon. But,
sounds good. Yeah.
I do want to give a shout out. One of the organizations, and you just mentioned it, John, with Mass Hire, they're a huge resource to this area, not only from people that are looking for jobs, but for employers that are looking for workers. And then they have training programs. There's a lot there for us. And Mark has recently met them as well. We were trying to do a job fair in Easton. But I just didn't realize that Paula Martell, who works with John, who's incredible, she's involved in STEM, she's involved in everything. She's on their board. So when I bring information to her, she's always one step ahead of me. She's on some board or a committee that's already working on it. So I think it's awesome to see people in our local businesses that are giving back to our broader region and to the community, and for the kids that, you know, our STEM program. Paul is doing an amazing job being involved in all of that. So thank her for me, John.
I will, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments on those two items?
No, I just want to add, if Donna didn't pick up on that, that might be another tie-in for the article on the photonics. And a real personal one, I like that.
Yeah, there's more that comes out of these Economic Development Council meetings than I think people realize. If Donna didn't pick up on it, hopefully she'll be able to review it and see it again. But that is our last item on the agenda. Unless anybody has any last comments or questions, we're ready to wrap it up. Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Sure, motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right. Well, Holbrook made the motion, Fulgenetti the second, and I'll just go around the room. Danielson,
Yes.
Fulgenetti,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Holbrook,
Yes.
and Lamb, yes. Thank you, guys. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.